So you got a job. You got a job. Congratulations. But now what? Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Taylor. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. Please like, comment, do all those good things. It really helps my channel and helps me get into that, YouTube algorithm. Without further ado though, let's jump right into the topic. So you got a job. You got a job. Congratulations. But now what? What you gonna do with that new income? What you gonna do with your new free time or now new limited time? Let's get into, so you got a job, now what? Okay, if you hear a bunch of background noise, I do apologize. I am working in an office today and I am currently on break. I have been working for too many years now. And when I first started working, nobody told me the following things. Number one, as soon as you get a job, I don't care if it's a part-time job. I don't care if it's a lifelong career. I don't care if it's your dream job. I don't care if it's a job that you don't even care about, but you just are in this position to make ends meet. First thing you need to do is set up some sort of 401k, some sort of pension plan. Find out what they offer. And as soon as you start, you need to be putting your money in these accounts. I'm not sure if you're aware, the market's about to crash. Okay, the market is about to crash. Inflation is through the roof. So what does this mean, all these terms? Basically, it means that you need to find different ways to diversify, put your money in different baskets so that it's growing at different rates in the hopes that you will come out in the end on top with more money than you would have. That's rule number one. I started off working my very first real job in which I was on somebody's actual payroll, in which I had to clock in, was with the company who offered 401k. And I was making like what? Minimum wage at the time was like $7.35. Trash. But I was just happy to have a job. I would used to work like 19 hours a week, nothing big, nothing major. But one thing nobody ever told me when I first started was to start putting my money into a 401k. And I probably lost like, I don't know, 2-3 years, which doesn't sound like a lot. And I wasn't making a lot, but saving a little bit of money over time, it really makes a difference. And on top of that, that money in your 401k plan, sometimes you can choose what that money is invested in. You can choose what stocks, what little baskets to put your money in so that it grows. Or sometimes the company only has like a couple options or maybe even just one option. But those are better than nothing. So if you work for a company that has that, please start. What is a 401k, you might ask? It is a savings account. Your employer kind of sets it up for you. You have the option to give a percentage every pay period or a specific number, and that money is set aside for your retirement. Now, 401k plans, any kind of little savings account plans are great because one, you're going to be setting yourself up for success in the future. Please do not be one of these people who think that once you retire, the government's gonna take care of you. Sweets, the government ain't got no money now. How they gonna take care of you later? It's not happening. You gotta do for yourself. So that money you can set aside for that purpose. Some 401k plans are a little more flexible in that you can borrow against it if you want to buy a home or a really big purchase. You can borrow against it, pay yourself back over time, and you just never know what could happen. If all else fails, if you lose your job, if you end up somewhere on the side of the road, honey, you got some money set aside. And yeah, there are tax penalties if you take that money out early, but if you on your bottom dollar, who really cares about that? You know what I'm saying? Find out what kind of savings plan your job offers. And please, pretty please, sign up. Since we're on the topic of savings accounts, if you have a job, a career that offers health insurance, look into getting an HSA or an FSA. Stop, pause, what is that? An HSA is a health savings account, and an FSA is a flex spending account. Both are offered by your job or your company, whatever you have. And essentially what that is another means for you to set aside money. Now, 401k plans, HSA, FSA, we love those because what they do is reduce your taxable income. That means, let's say you make $50,000 a year, but between your 401k and your HSA, that money's taken out automatically. So on paper you make $50,000, but because you've been saving your money in these accounts, it looks to the government, okay, she actually only made $40,000. That means you're only going to be taxed on the $40,000 you made, not on the $50,000. But you still have all that money still set aside. You just are not using it right now. See what I'm saying? See what I'm doing here? We are lowering the amount of taxes we have to pay, but we are increasing our net worth. Come on, y'all feel me? Y'all feel me? So back to the HSA and FSA. What these accounts are tax deductible accounts that are used specifically for your health care. So you set aside, I think the limit right now for an HSA is $3,650. I look at my HSA account a lot, so I'm pretty sure that's accurate. That means over the course of a year, you can save that much money in your account. And you can save it in two different ways. You can have your job incrementally take out as much as you want. You can have your job take out big chunks in the beginning of the year and then nothing towards the end. It really doesn't matter. Whatever fits and suits your lifestyle is best. But that money is good for two reasons. One, like I said earlier, it's tax deductible, so it lowers your taxable income. Number two, let's say you have some kind of medical emergency. Let's say you have a bunch of medications or even just some medication. You have doctor's office visits. That account will cover all of that. And the best part is you didn't have to pay taxes on it with your income. So with my HSA, that's what I have in particular. With my HSA, I buy glasses. And I don't just buy regular glasses. Sometimes I'll buy designer, sometimes regular. You know, I buy many different styles of glasses. It's covered. It's my money. So that's what I do. In addition to that, I buy contacts. I have acne medication. I have vitamins and supplements. Now, some things are covered and you'll go to the store and it'll say flex spending account or health savings account approved. Those are the items you can use, some not. So you can either swipe your card, type it in if you decide to make a purchase online, or you can reimburse yourself. So a lot of times I'll pay for something with my credit card because I get points, things like that. And then I'll go back to my HSA. It's called filing a claim. You just submit the amount that you spent, you type in the notes what it was, and you want to make sure you keep those receipts because the government, the IRS, they can double back and ask you for that information. Is it legit? Did you really spend this money on something legit or something frivolous? You know what I'm saying? So you can do that and get your money back. So y'all might want to look into that. On top of that, a lot of jobs, the job I specifically have, they will have like a healthy program, a program that encourages you to go to your doctor, to go to your dentist, to go to your OB, to go to a therapist. They have these programs in which if you go, you get dollar amounts. And so for my specific program that I'm enrolled in, I absolutely love it. I can get up to $300 a year. And they have different challenges throughout the year. They have one like a fruits and vegetables challenge. If you eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables and you track it, you can submit it and then you'll get $50. They also have it where if you walk 10,000 steps a day, you get $1 for every day and you can earn up to $50. They have the same thing but with exercise. So if you exercise for at least 30 minutes a day, it doesn't even matter what exercise it is, and you record it on their website, you get another up to $50. So not only are you being healthy, but you're also getting money added to your HSA, and that lowers the amount that you have to put in yourself. So since I get up to $300, if I get that full $300, I'd only contribute like $3,300 into my HSA account. You see what I'm saying? It's free money. Don't leave free money on the table. So make sure you look into those benefits, because a lot of those things I don't feel as though people talk enough about. Even people who have been at my place of work for years, they never took advantage of that. So let's say you don't even want to contribute to your HSA yourself. If you just did the program, the healthy program, you got a free $300. You didn't have to contribute anything. All you did was go to your doctor's visits like you typically should. Let me tell you the difference between an HSA and an FSA though. HSA, you put money in over time, and as that money is deposited, you can use it. So let's say $100 a week I put in. So after, a month, I got $400, I can use that. It's kind of like a debit card. With the end of the year coming about, if you still have money left over, it's fine. It rolls over to the next year. So let's say I don't use my whole $3,600. I have that money for next year. A flex spending account, and I learned this the hard way. A flex spending account, you get all that money up front and then you pay it back. Almost like a credit card, but not really. So let's say you wanted to contribute $3,000. You're gonna get that $3,000 at the beginning of the year, and you can use that as you see fit. However, they're going to incrementally take from your check or your checking account to fulfill that amount. But essentially, it's like you're credited that amount up front. The issue with that is that at the end of the year, if you don't utilize every single dollar, whatever dollars you have left are gone, poof, gone. So I'd say a flex spending account is really good for somebody who knows they're gonna have a major surgery, for somebody who knows that they have big deductibles at the beginning of the year, somebody who knows that that money is definitely going to be allocated. And HSA is more so, you might need it, or you might want something. For example, I used my HSA last year to get Invisalign. That cost me about $5,000. Teeth are not cheap, honey. So because it cost so much, but I wasn't sure if I was going to really keep up with it. It was my first time. So I paid my dentist incrementally as I got that money put onto my HSA card incrementally. I could have decided to do a flex spending account in the beginning, but again, I wasn't really too sure about how long it would take. And then I ended up losing some trays, I had a lot of bumps in the road. That's a story for another day, but that is the main difference. And I'll tell you one more beneficial thing about an HSA. If you decide, okay, I don't really use that much money each year for my medical expenses, there is an option for some for you to actually invest the leftover money. So for mine, there is a HSA side and an investing side. So let's say I say, you know what, I don't think I'm going to spend more than $1,000 this year on whatever I need. I can choose to invest the rest of the $2,000. Mind you, this is all tax deductible. I can invest it and use it as another brokerage account. A brokerage account, if you didn't know, is just an account that allows you to invest in different stocks and bonds. So you can look and see what you'd like your money to go into, what pockets, what stocks. and you have money growing rapidly, as well as your usual savings. Because with a savings account, the health savings account, you don't earn any interest on your deposits. It's just kind of like cash. But if you invest it, you're earning a high interest rate just based off whatever the market's doing. And there's not a time limit in which you can use it. So come on. And if you get that $300, like I was talking about, that your company gives for you being healthy or making the right choices, that's a free $300 that you could just put in the investing portfolio. And then you look up 10 years from now, wow, I got $100,000. Now that math is not mathing. I just made these numbers up, but hopefully you get my drift. Okay. So another thing that you want to make sure that you do after you've gotten a job is I'd say do this because I didn't. Just be very intentional with the new money that you're getting. When I first got my job at my first company, I was a pharmacy technician. I didn't make that much money, so it wasn't really life altering. It just was something that let me put my foot in the door. It allowed me to see if I really liked this retail pharmacy life. It was more so a learning experience for me. But then I got my first big girl job. Okay. Out of school, and I'm gonna be very transparent with you all because why else would you watch? Like, do you want the real or do you want a bunch of frou-frou? So my first big girl job, after I graduated, I became a pharmacy resident. I made about $50,000. Okay. That was a lot of money for me. But I only got paid once a month. So with this new money, I was like, oh, I got all this money at the beginning of the month. I was never used to budgeting more than for each week. I was used to hitting zero each time. But now I've got a little extra change. What do? I recommend. This is the easiest. This is for those who are, inexperienced. You do the 50, 30, 20% rule. 50% of that income needs to be used or should be used on your obligations, the non-negotiables: food, shelter, water. So your housing, your vehicle, your bills, what you need day to day to live. 30% can be spent on the things that you want to live. Nails done, hair done. For some people that could be a car payment, going out to eat, travel. And 20% of your income needs to be set aside for debt repayment and savings. If you paid off all that debt, your net worth would still be zero. You know what I'm saying? You still need to have money set aside. I'd say the first step for savings needs to be an emergency fund. A lot of people in America cannot afford an emergency of $500 that could set them back to put on their credit card. That credit card has interest if you don't pay it off in time, and then you end up owing a far greater amount, thereby digging you deeper into the hole. So to mitigate that, at least get $1,000 to start, incrementally build up and save at least $1,000. Did I do that? No. I was acting like I was balling out of control. I saved here and there, but I didn't have any clear goals. I would listen to financial podcasts. I would read financial books, but I wasn't regimented. And I feel as though if I built that discipline early upon my first job, then I could have really had it upon my first big girl job. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't utilize the 50, 30, 20 rule, do something to where you have an emergency savings. So if something hits the fan, you got it. Be sure you got a plan to pay off debt if you haven't, and be sure you're able to afford your monthly expenses. Now, if you don't have enough to cover all of this, you might want to take a look at the job that you have and say, hey, do I need to add some side hustle work? Do I need to get a new job? Think of things that you can do in order to at least meet your bottom line. So that was my first big girl job, right? Then after my residency, I became a full-fledged pharmacist. I was still a pharmacist, but it was like a pharmacist who's doing extra training. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm a pharmacist, big dog, like I got the license and I got the residency to back me up. What's up? I started making 6 figures. Mind you, I didn't have a plan in place. So I had my little 401k though. By this time I did have my 401k. I believe I got that after about 4 years of working. So that was already set up. I think it was automatically set to do 9%. So when I got these increases, because everything was with the same company. So when I got these increases, you know, my 401k was just steadily growing at a higher rate because it was just a straight 9%. So I didn't ever miss that money because I never saw it. So I'm starting to get a little extra money. I'm starting to feel myself. I'm still driving the little car my mama got me when I was in college. When I got into pharmacy school, she promised me a car. So, you know, I'm still driving my little 2000 Toyota Corolla BB. Me and my husband, my fiance, my newly husband at the time, you know, we were in our second apartment. We were feeling ourselves. It was like, okay, so rent increased a little bit. Still ain't had no car note. We decided to get a dog. Okay, that's a little expense. Then I was like, I got a little bit saved. I got all my necessities taken care of. Like I could pay months worth if I so chose. And I've been paying down debt. I have little to no debt. I can't think of what else I can do. Let's start splurging. That's when I'm like, okay, you know, graduated. Let's get you a new car, baby. I got a new car. Okay? Let's get you a bag so you can really match the part. Let's get a little Yves Saint Laurent, a little tote. Oh, you can afford the makeup you actually want to buy now? You don't have to keep using makeup that you've been using since college. Let's upgrade that. So I was upgrading my life, which I think I did it too fast. And I didn't have a clear idea of really what to do with my money. You know, you're in school, they teach you how to make the money, but they don't teach you what to do when you get it. So at that point, I probably should have, because I didn't know much, I probably should have invested in a financial advisor or just somebody who could really help me out. You know what I'm saying? So I'd say when your income increases, and when it increases greatly, stop. Let's think about this. And let's say, okay, my emergency fund. I got at least $1,000 in there. What's next? I'm getting more income. You got to save 3 to 6 months worth of your necessary expenses. So you gotta bulk that up some more. I don't want to save a lot. Don't say nothing, because you know we lived through a whole pandemonium. People have lost their jobs. People's lives were literally turned upside down. But if they had an emergency fund, their fall could have been cushioned. You know what I'm saying? So we're living in the times of traumatic experiences happening out of nowhere. 2, I probably should have just been investing more on the side. You know, even if it was like $50 a week, just something extra. I was so quick to make my lifestyle match my income, and it doesn't have to. A lot of millionaires, billionaires live far below their means. I'm trying to increase my means to match this new 6-figure income, and I didn't have to do that. Hey guys, so really quickly, I had to jump in because there was something that I missed in the video. Different day, different clothes, whatever. But I did want to say, when you get a job, your time is now going to be differently balanced. Make sure that you don't make that job your everything. I used to take my job very seriously, which is something that you want to do because your reputation precedes you. You want to be known as somebody who does the work, does it well, somebody who gets along with others, so that more and more opportunities can come about. But what I am trying to say is, I used to make my job my all-time priority, to the fact where my relationships started failing, my mental health started failing, and mind you, I was also at a very fast pace, a very stressful job to begin with. So make sure you have your priorities in line, okay? I would pick up overtime. Nobody asked, but I would just pick up overtime because money sounded nice when I really needed to relax, because mental health and mental wellness is nice. So make sure that you prioritize fun. You prioritize the things that you love to do. You prioritize grounding yourself, because having a career, having a job, making money means absolutely nothing if you are miserable, if you are suffering, if you can't even be well enough to enjoy that money. Make time for your spouse. Make time for your relationships, for your family. Make sure that you have off days. Even if you feel like, oh, I'm not going to be doing anything on my off day, you're going to be able to rest, which is something that your body and your mind both need. Like, honestly, you're replaceable at your job. And that might sound bad, but it's the truth. But you're not replaceable to yourself. Well, I hope this was encouraging. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I love you guys so much. I had fun talking about it. And above all else, I hope it's helpful. Love y'all. See you in the next one. Bye.